Hi, this is Jennifer Gillihan with The Big Reveal, and I am here today with Annie Helwig of Crossroad Calligraphy. And we wanted to kind of share with you some of the things that you should ask when you are selecting a calligrapher. So if somebody comes into the bridal show, tell me, what are the basic questions that they need to start with?
I think that there's three things that are most important, and I would start with process. So that means what's the working relationship going to be like? What's the timeline? What's your availability? What's the budget? You know, your ability to work within whatever my budget might be as a bride. So I always start at process because I think that makes a huge difference in terms of your experience working with the calligrapher. It should be something that's not stressful. It should be something that takes off some of that stress that you're feeling. You know, as you have your Pinterest vision of what it's going to look like and all of those little details that you envision incorporating. And I think working with the calligrapher should be as stress-free as possible, and that all comes back to process. Next, I would say style. So it's important, and you get a good feel of that at a bridal show. You know, you get a good feel of what that calligrapher's style is, what they like to do, what they excel at. I personally am not as much of a traditional calligrapher. I love doing modern calligraphy. So you really want to get a feel for what their style is, look at their samples, pick up their samples, and get an idea of their scope of work, what they can do, what their capabilities are. And finally, I would say it's customization. So, you know, again, you have your vision of how you want your day to look, and I think working with a calligrapher who's super flexible and can accommodate the style that you're looking for. So if you come to them with an invitation suite already completed, knowing that they're going to be able to complement your existing suite or develop a suite exclusively for you that really encompasses the look and feel and vibe of your wedding and how you envision your big day being. You know, ideally, the calligraphy should just drive home the feeling of your wedding and how you want your guests to feel when they arrive.
Yeah. And you talk about a calligraphy suite because it's not just about addressing invitations anymore, right? Give us some examples of the other things that you do.
I think a lot of times, you know, I'm now working with brides who bring me on really early in the process, so I might even be doing their save the date design or working with them on their invitation design, and then obviously doing addressing, doing custom stamps, return address stamps, doing menu and program design, place cards, signage throughout. So, you know, I think a lot of times people think that calligraphy doesn't have a place in their budget or they don't see how it's going to fit, and I totally understand that. As someone who's planning a wedding myself, I get that. So I think finding ways that you can incorporate those hand-lettered elements that really make it special to you and your fiance, I think is really important. And sometimes it might not be, you know, doing envelopes. It might be something like place cards, or it might be something like, you know, a welcome sign. Or so there are little ways that you can incorporate those details and doing it in a way that's really unique to you and your future spouse.
Yeah, that's great. So tell me, what's different about your company? If someone's comparing you to another calligraphy company, what makes you stand out?
I think my process. I love being brought on early. I love being part of that creative process with the bride. I think my turnaround time is really great. So I really work to accommodate rush orders and accommodate people who are on a deadline, because frankly, a lot of people don't realize that they want calligraphy until they're at the 9th hour and they're like, I don't like the way my envelopes look with this, you know, Staples address label on them. So I think accommodating those people who are maybe coming to it, you know, a little bit green, not really sure what they want from calligraphy, and then customization. I mean, I love working with people who have a vision in mind and aren't quite sure how to execute it, or and are wanting input and advice into how they could really, you know, if they have a boho vibe that they're going for, how can their printed goods actually drive that home and make it feel approachable. And so I really love working on custom things, and I think that that's something that's unique, and I'm always willing to try new things. You know, I think that finding vendors you work with who are willing to go outside their comfort zone at times to accommodate what you envision is really important. And as a calligrapher, I think that that's critical because it makes such a big difference in how people interpret your wedding day and in accomplishing your vision. I mean, ultimately, that's what it's all about, is just accomplishing, you know, your vision for the day, and I love doing that. So
awesome. Great. Well, thanks
Was
for
that-
being here
Yeah.
today. And again, we hope you can take this information and use it to help you plan your event. We look forward to seeing you on September 18th at the big reveal.